Anyways, back to this dream that I had. So I remember walking into this house, and it's like I can almost see all of these places in my mind, like clear as day. So I walk into this house, and the dog comes charging at me, and I put my hand out like this to catch the dog, and he bites me. He bites my hand right there, and I can't feel it in the dream, but everyone's looking at me like, okay. And then but then when people aren't paying attention that I like need help urgently, I'm like, hi, hello, and everyone's like, ah, oh my god, are you in pain? And then I'm like, how am I not in that much pain? Because I'm looking at my hand, and it's like my hand has been in the fucking devil's mouth, but I'm like just fucking banded it up and keep going, like so weird. And then there's like this kid, this young guy. I know he's a kid. He's like a kid to me. He's young. And he thinks I'm cute, but we're like not. I don't really understand it. It's like he thinks we're cute, but for some reason in my mind, I'm like, this motherfucker isn't going anywhere. I gotta fucking make sure he is doing things the way that he needs to do. But he's also young and dumb. And he is making his own choices, which is what it's almost like I'm an angel in somebody else's fucking dream, or like a guardian messenger, like a messenger in somebody else's dream, and I'm watching what it feels like to be a spirit guide when somebody is not getting the fucking picture. Like I straight up, that's how I fucking feel. And it's like every time I talk to this dude, I'm like, bro, that guy he just stole your goddamn car. He's not coming back with the fucking bag. Like, what? Like, I don't know. It was like I was stuck in the streets or something. Like, like, oh my God. But it's like, I feel like I'm there. It's real. It's so, so, so real. So real. And not only that, I'm going to mention that I'm trying to find like an energy pack, it feels like, in the dream. Like when I can remember this parts of my dream, it's like they're like energy packs in my dream where I'm like getting low, or like I'm about to wake up, and so my energy in my dream, the energy in my dream is starting to be depleted, and I can feel it to where I'm like seeking out a moment to try and get like I want to say smoke something, but I can't actually see what it is I'm trying to do. All I know is that I'm trying to get a moment to get a breath of air to gain consciousness in the moment of chaos. And these moments of chaos are not how they are here on Earth. They're like right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. It's like I'm still bleeding, and I don't even have, the dog is still hanging from my arm, and you want me to go to McDonald's? Like, and it's totally normal there. It's like everyone can see everyone's wounds and nobody cares. It's weird. This is like a real ass metaphor for life. There's like, it's so weird because like I'll be like in a scene where it's like a mall scene, and it's like at the same time there's like lots of people, and at the same time there's no people. It's the weirdest fucking way to explain it, guys. I don't know how to explain it. It's like sometimes like time freezes or something at some moments when I'm looking at things because I don't see the people. It's almost like they fade out and the background's still there. If that makes sense. Like, it's so weird. It's almost like, it's like yesterday I heard this reading, and this girl was talking about time, space time. We're in I don't know, she was talking about space time and time space and how they're different, and how we can only exist with time. Yeah. My brain, I can feel the faces I'm making right now are just out of this world. But there was I could draw you all of these rooms that I was in. So there was an airplane and we're all about to take off. And this has been now the 5th time I've had this dream, at least in the last couple of months, 5 months. And I'm like, this time there's more and more people on the plane every time. But it's not a plane where you'd think you'd. It started out as planes where you sit down and you're all buckled in, kind of like, you know, like you're getting on a spaceship or something. But this was more like kids this time playing in an open area. And I was like looking at them like, you guys gotta put your fucking seatbelts on. And then we just go shooting up. But now it's almost like an elevator. It's not like a plane. It's so weird. I know. This sounds so weird. But y'all know that I'm a medium, so I'm recording my dream and picking up messages at the same time. This is kind of how I use my psychic abilities, but I have to record it and hear myself at the same time. It's like I'm using my subconscious and I'm using my superconscious and I'm using my avatar to like manipulate my conscious like conditioning to bypass all that and to get really deep with yourself. There's scientific proof that you can, by hearing your own voice saying certain things out loud, it changes your subconscious. And the reason why is because 95% of the time we're operating out of our subconscious mind, which is an auto programming that is programmed that way so that we can survive as a species for a longer than a short period of time. Because what your brain does for you is it creates synapses. Okay, synapse in your brain create a pathway creates a neural pathway to the synapse. The synapse creates a automatic like pathway back to your brain, so that anytime you do that same thing that you've done before, it makes it less strenuous on your caloric energy body. So like your body's ability to store and use its calories. Well, the reason why our body creates a synapse in our brain is so that everyday functions like taking a drink of water. Okay, now your body remembers its muscle memory. Every time you take a drink, it does the same thing. So your body's not having to think and process through, okay, this is water. This is what happens when I drink water. But it does it with everything in your life, even down to the littlest things that you don't pay attention to, but once you start paying attention to, you recognize like, wow, okay. So I feel like when doing this, it's like I'm tapping into my super conscious subconsciously through my higher self, if that makes sense. You know. Yeah. And you're right. A lot of people back in the day would have been probably, you know, that's a lie. I was about to say that I probably would have been like put in a mental institution. There are levels to that. Yes, I probably could have if anybody wanted to do that. Back in the day, they could put anybody they wanted in the fucking mental institution. Besides that, the fact that I'm just literally talking to myself before we had video cameras, this was weird. This was weird. You would have been labeled weird. But there's a difference too. If you've ever noticed somebody who has like a mental issue, I almost called it an disorder. It's an disorder, a disorder and an issue, because it's definitely both of those. Anyways, they're not usually talking happily with their voices. If you notice, most of the time, unfortunately, and I haven't figured out why or what it means, but paranoid schizophrenia para means like in tandem, like paracord, or like paranormal, or it's like two opposites the same. So I'm trying to figure out if they really are, if it's schizophrenia is more of a spiritual battle that's unseen, that physicians haven't actually tapped into, because every paranoid schizophrenic person that I know, especially the paranoid schizophrenic, not just the what do they call it, affective disorder, but anyways, they I feel like the paranoid, the more that it gets, the worse that it gets, which is paranoid. I think the para is the worst level of it, and I think it could be demonic. I honestly do. I honestly do think that they could be haunted, just as most of us are, but a lot of us have that filter. I think they're just living without a filter. They're living in the dreams. They're living in their dream. So when they have a delusion, it's almost like how we would think having a normal, like how we don't know we're in a dream most of the time, but we're communicating in it. And when we wake up, we know that we did it, right? So I feel like dreams, there's like layers to that too. It has a lot to do with how conscious you are, and has a lot to do with everything your soul has done in its journey to this point in reality, and how much you've woken up to that reality within yourself. Like me, I'm like, I know my story. You know what I mean? Like, I have created and I have destroyed many, many worlds and beings in my soul's journey. And it has taught me so much. So much. Like, part of me believes that I, have a huge relation to the ancient goddess Horus, or, excuse me, that's her son. Technically Isis's son. But there's a whole lineage of reincarnation when you start looking into the Egyptian pantheons, where it becomes really muddied, right? So Hathor, the goddess Hathor, is little known, talked about, but she created the Milky Way galaxy. She also was the second being to be created after the god Ra, who is the creator god of the universe. He's a sun god. Anyways, that's like my origin story is very much along that line. I remember seeing everything when it was still black and nothing, and spent many millions of years, alone in darkness. People might think that sounds crazy, but I feel it in my bones. So when you have memories of, this isn't actually something that I think most humans have, even, because we all have a soul, and our soul all has its journey, and I believe my soul is extremely ancient. Extremely ancient. Which means that I'm probably coming to the last of my, I actually feel like I am a master soul. So I don't know how this all works really yet. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I know something's there. But either way, the veils are beginning to be very thin. I have been traversing dreamscapes and things for many, many years. Now I think what's happening is I'm starting to bleed into other people's planes, mind, and helping pull themselves back through the loop that they're stuck in order to free themselves in the matrix. Does that make sense? That sounds like some Neo shit. That sounds like some real ass Matrix shit. But for real, that's what's up. And my family looks at me because they're like, you don't have a, I'm not doing what they're doing. And so that's fine. But, what's crazy is I'm literally jumping inside people's minds during their dreams and helping them save themselves. I don't even understand how the fuck I'm doing that shit. I just know that I'm doing it. So, for those of you who have a hard time understanding reality, welcome to my world.